Okay, Claire, we did an interview together last year,
Yeah.
which was focusing on your inspiring backstory and your move to eXp. So, how have you found the shift to self-employed status? Would you recommend it? What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I would absolutely recommend it because it's enabled me to earn a very good living for effectively part-time hours. So I've got that flexibility to make sure my health is number one priority. I still have numerous hospital appointments and probably always will. But it also gives me the flexibility to do some of the other things that I want to do in life. I do some voluntary work on a regular basis. I go and visit my dad, he's 91 in a couple of weeks, and so all of those things. But I'm running a business as well, so and eXp offers fantastic support. From the employed staff and support staff, but also all the agents that we've got around the country. It's how I met Liana, so I'll be forever grateful. We didn't know each other before, and we didn't meet for about 9 months in person, did we?
No.
But no, it's given me a sort of a new lease of life, to be perfectly honest, in terms of my career.
Liana, do trade bodies prove their worth more than ever during the pandemic? What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, do you know the amount?
Big question.
Yeah, big question. And the amount of people that's asked that question, because obviously I'm traveling all over the UK, constantly speaking to our members in Propertymark, and I just think that if you went through lockdown as a small business, that date when it was announced that everything you had to close your doors, the webinars, the support. If I didn't have Propertymark just guiding me on what was going on, next things to do, what to do, and how to do it, and also they had massive wins like having the commission included in the furlough, the business rates. So there were some big wins through COVID for Propertymark as such. And you ask for trade bodies, but obviously I'm going to speak about Propertymark. So I just think that support was incredible, and I honestly don't know if you had a small business how you would go through it with the legalities and how to deal with everything, all the policies, all the new policies that needed to be implemented. Rachel Hartley is just incredible, and she just condenses all of this incredible information, pages and pages of legislation, of everything you need to do into one email, and you just get that, and you have literally a bullet point email to follow on your next steps. So I think it was absolutely needed, and that they really stepped up and helped us as members through COVID.
That's really good to hear, actually. I can imagine, if you're on your own as a small business without that support, it's going to be a lot tougher. Your outlook really over the next period for the market, because obviously we've got a bit of pressure on interest rates and inflation. We've got a horrible war going on and lots more legislation coming in. So what's your thoughts over the next period, just before we sign off? I'll
let you answer that, Liana.
I think we keep waiting for the market to soften, and because I'm based in London, I haven't experienced what my fellow agents outside of London have experienced, which is these multiple bids not even hitting the market, queues of people camping out in tents in front of properties. I exaggerate slightly, but because I sit on the board meetings with my advisory with my colleagues, that's I listen to their stories, and I just I think it's not happening in London. So the market in London has been out of sync. But it's for family houses in general, in certain areas and microclimates in London, it's been really buoyant. So there are certain types of property that haven't sold. So what that leads me to think is that the lack of property, there is still a higher demand, and we keep waiting for it to soften, but it hasn't happened. So I just think that the lack of supply is, until that carries on, we'll still see stability, and I like a stable market, and in London it seems to be stable so far. Where it's going, I don't know. But
lack of stock is obviously an issue, isn't it? And it could be the utility costs going up. So at the top of the market, the big houses, people will downsize because they don't want to be, running such an expensive property, and that might then, stop the market moving. But as Liana says, we keep thinking it's going to soften, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
It continues. So, ladies, thank you so much for your time today. And if you haven't checked it out yet, the Women in Estate Agency Facebook group and podcast. So thank you to Clare Hughes and Liana Loporto. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, Nat.
Thank you.